Yo, what is up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. It is getting late, but not too late for us, Jim, because we got college baseball tonight, brought to you by the N Off the Bench podcast. And I'm DB, he's Jim. And this is another day of midweek madness, man, and we got to get right to it, Jim. Let's not hold anything back. Let's start with the LSU Tigers. What they got going on?
They wasted no time, Daniel. First 2 innings, putting up 10 runs. Back-to-back bombs are my favorite thing on a Tuesday afternoon.
This ball is blasted deep to center field. Will the ballpark hold it? You can pucker up and kiss that baby.
You got to be thinking, wow, this college thing's pretty tough.
This could be a back-to-back blast. It is up, pucker up. Kiss that baby goodbye.
Final score, 18-4.
While we're on bombs, let's go to the team that hits a ton of bombs. Tennessee, Andrew Fisher. No surprise here.
Bad night. It's okay. I never know what day of the week it is either.
That is hit hard to left field. McDivitt on the way back watches it fly. Andrew Fisher.
But shockingly, 4-2. Our fans are upset.
I was going to say, shockingly, it was the only 4-2. That was probably the highlight of the day. But yeah, I think they were a little upset leaving the day, only seeing that home run and only 4 runs come across the plate.
They're just saving it for Florida this weekend. That's my thought process. I'll be there. Save all the bombs, boys. Let's save them for the Gators. Let's do what we do. But here is the highlights from Wake Forest, Coastal Carolina.
Well, here he comes again like a buzzsaw. He is all over Diego Santana. He's swarming all over. Now he's beating on him without mercy.
Daniel, we know the midweeks mean something in the state of North Carolina, and we know Coastal was really probably hoping they could get this win. Wake Forest said not so fast, and absolutely meleeed them. And, in off the bench guest, Ethan Conrad, there's a reason, Daniel, he's projected in the top 10 in the MLB draft. Here he is again. Mama goes up, man.
He's found him. Instead.
I don't know why I glitched. I don't even care. Look, Ethan Conrad keeps hitting bombs. Him and Merrick Houston. Daniel, Ethan Petrie said to me, how did I almost go home in Survivor? And I told him who was on his team, and he's like, that's not fair. Those guys are putting up video game numbers, and they are.
Yeah, definitely. Florida has been notorious for not living up to par during these midweek games. They had a rivalry game. Maybe that's what it was. They had Florida State come into town, and Florida State is unbeaten no more. Florida takes it 7-2.
Grounder to first. This should do it. Step on the bag.
Daniel, is there, people are excited. Tennessee's the last unbeaten, but it's all about winning the last game. It's a cool thing to have, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Florida State's not any less of a team for this. It is a good win for Florida when you're, putting that resume out to be a host when it's all said and done. But I pick Florida State to beat Florida in any weekend, matchup.
Well, and here's the reality too is Florida needed this win, I think, a lot more than Florida State did, because it's quite possible Florida goes up there this weekend and has a really bad time. So having a win in the midweek could salvage the whole entire week for them. So big win for Florida.
Well, shout out Tennessee. When they had just Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida State left, they did the post a few days ago. Cursed the other 2 teams clearly because they said who's going to stay unbeaten the longest. Didn't even take but a couple days, but I said it was going to be Tennessee, of course. And so here we are. Vols doing what they do. Florida State will be back on track this weekend. They do have Boston College coming to town, Daniel, off a big series win. So, maybe they needed that punch in the mouth, wake them up, make sure they're ready for this weekend. But, Daniel, you know who was thinking about this weekend? Ole Miss, bro. I'm so hyped for the Ole Miss-Arkansas series. They got set in the midweek trap, not just losing, Daniel. Get caught looking ahead and lose to South Alabama. 14-5. Does it mean anything?
No. I think when you're in the SEC and you're preparing for conference play, you're making sure arms get a chance to see some live action. You're making sure some guys see some live pitching. You never know what you're going to need. The depth's got to be there, in these conference matchups. So I wouldn't put a whole lot of stock into it. 14-5 is a little egregious, but I mean, Ole Miss isn't perfect, and all teams are going to catch that one every now and then.
They got out, jumped out early 5-0. And I've seen a lot of these SEC coaches. You're not going to waste your pitchers that you need this weekend. So you're going to throw those other dudes, and that's probably why that 5 turned to 14 in the reality.
Yeah, I mean, they still are going to have to rely on these guys that pitch today, at some point in the season. So it's not a good look to lose 14-5. But if you're going to lose that way, now is a good time, rather than the weekend to make that happen.
No doubt. So we got some score updates. Daniel, we might be a failure by doing this show right now. The best game of the day is probably going on. You got Oklahoma State and DBU in the bottom of the 11th. Oklahoma State is holding on to that 1-run lead, but DBU is threatening. So for those that are interested in the Midweek Madness, be tuned in for some highlights. Maybe we'll show them tomorrow. I expect DBU to have a comeback, Daniel. That's what they do, man. They thrive in these situations.
I mean, my university, DBU, I mean, if anybody's going to make a comeback, it's going to be them. It doesn't matter if it's the 11th, the 9th, the 7th, the 1st, or the 20th. They got it, all right? They got this. So we'll look forward to seeing them with a win at the end of the night. But, until then, hey, keep plugging away DBU.
Yeah, and so Alabama ends up pulling ahead on UAB and fixing to close it out 6-3. That game was tied 3-3 all game. Arizona is up 2-0 on a really good Arizona State team. Let's see if there's anybody else. Texas A&M obviously just demolished Prairie View. Jace Laviolette got back on track. And yeah, man, nothing else to report, but, 2 really good games out of the mix. You'll always take that on a Tuesday. You're not going to get what's on the weekend. And, teams, getting ready for battle this weekend. There's still some more games tomorrow. Not any big-time matches, Daniel, but I think this is a good appetizer for what we got to come. This weekend is it's going to be off the charts. I can't wait for us to do pick 'em.
Yeah, it's your mouth is watering is what I like to say right now. It's ready. You're ready to go for the weekend. And let's jump into a little bit of pick 'em rapid fire style here. All right. First matchup, Arkansas at Ole Miss. Who you got?
I got Ole Miss, man. I just, I really like Hunter Elliott on the front end over Gabe Geckel. I think Arkansas definitely takes one. I think no game is a, dominant. I think it's close all 3 games. I think it's going to be, epic crowd out there at Swayze. So give me Ole Miss, but give me a really, really good contested weekend.
Yeah, I'm going to go the opposite. I think Arkansas is proving that they're a little bit different. And I know Ole Miss is playing really well, but this is one of those matchups that if you're going to be able to convince people that you still got it and you can still make it, Arkansas has to win this series against a decent.
Well, they got Iredell, they got the Aloy brothers, they got Diggs, so they got some bats. Arkansas doesn't normally have that. We'll find out. They haven't been doing SEC pitching. I'm high on this Ole Miss staff, so we'll see how those 4 bats specifically can do against those guys.
All right, and then we got Florida traveling to Tennessee. You're going to be there for the action. Who you got?
I got Tennessee, but I do believe Florida gets a game here. I think they're too good. They're too talented. We just saw that they beat Florida State. I know Tennessee doesn't feel like they can lose to anybody right now, but I think Florida comes in there and gets one, but ultimately Tennessee wins the series. I'm going to go ahead and say they take game 1 and game 3, drop game 2, just when I look at that pitching matchup. Don't tell our guest tomorrow because he's the game 2 pitcher.
Yeah, I honestly, I think, Tennessee's going to win the first 2, and I think they're going to give up the third. I think they're going to, have a loss, and it'll be to a good team. I don't expect Florida to go out there and just burn the world down against these guys. I just think Tennessee hits the ball too well, and I think that's going to be really the deciding factor.
It should be Brandon Arbison, IOTB guest out there on the bump on Sunday. Going Florida, man. They can't do it.
Hey, it's tough. I mean, at some point we're going to have to pick against our guys, and that's the shameful part of it, but it is what it is. Texas at Mississippi State. This is intriguing. For me, I think, Texas, we haven't really talked too much about them. I mean, the prestige and everything that goes with that. Same thing with Mississippi State. Kind of, I don't know if they're flying under the radar or if they're just not quite as good as everyone else. But being that it's at Mississippi State, I'm going to take Mississippi State to take the series.
I was originally going to go to this, and 2021, the Texas-Mississippi State, matchup in Omaha, which originally started in Arlington to open that season of the college baseball showdown. 2 elite teams, 2 elite fan bases in Duty Noble. It's going to be epic. But ultimately, Mississippi State fans are going to be happy. They're going to be eating the best food, and their team's going to take the series.
There you go. Oklahoma at South Carolina. Opening up conference play at a place like South Carolina at Founders Park, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be a great atmosphere. They're going to be ready to burn the house down. Give me the Gamecocks taking all 3.
Ooh, all 3. I can't do that. I got South Carolina taking this series, but I got Oklahoma taking game 1. Witherspoon is the real deal. I know Dylan Eskew, you said we got to pick against our guys sometimes. Give me that, but I would love to see.
I'm not picking against Dylan Eskew. Boom.
I would love to see South Carolina take all 3. Man, I need my man Ethan Petrie in Survivor. Jake Brown went 4 for 4 tonight, Daniel. Hot start. Ethan's got to catch up.
Hey, Ethan knows what he's got to do. He's buying his time for this weekend. Oklahoma's gonna have fits with Ethan. Vandy traveling to Auburn. Interesting matchup. I think I'm gonna take the Vandy boys for this one.
Yeah, I mean, this is one that nobody's talking about, and we really need this one because both teams look good but haven't really played anybody. Auburn does have that win over Oregon State, so that's a really nice victory. I'll say this, Daniel. You know the stats. I actually meant to get them before this episode. I'm a failure to others listening, but SEC in home, away statistics, the home team wins, I think, like 78% of the time over the last few years. And so for that reason, give me Auburn.
Yeah, both 14-3, 16 seed Vandy, 25 seed Auburn. I mean, this could propel. This could either solidify Vanderbilt as being, a quintessential top 10 team, or this could show us that Auburn is really a lot better than what they are.
Here's what I would say to anybody, Daniel. We've had this conversation. For anybody who's actually listening to this, if your team loses a series, but you win a game, it's competitive, the world isn't over. The SEC gauntlet is what it is. Playing on the road is what it is. You just, at the end of the day, you don't want to get swept, and you want to take care of series at home. So, for instance, with the series we're taking, if you're Vandy and you don't win the series, but you take one, you obviously show you're highly competitive. Hey, man, it's okay. Next weekend you'll be at home. You need to get that series. But taking care of the series at home, Daniel, and not getting swept. This year, you really can't afford to get swept.
Yeah, but I think the problem lies in this, and we talked about this, is that you have to, every team is good in the SEC, but the teams that are not as good, they're still really good, but like this Auburn team isn't quite as good as the other teams on their conference slate. So this is one they really need to win. If they're going to go on the road and beat a team, this is one that they've got to do. And we'll see what happens. But I like Vandy. Looking forward, Alabama. One loss. Alabama is going to Texas A&M. Obviously, Blue Bell, a difficult place to play. The fans get rowdy. It's a good time, but 19th team in the country. They're playing a little bit better tonight. Will this be the series that gets them rolling?
Ryan Prager's still going to be on the mound, dude.
Yeah, Ryan Prager's going to be on there, and I think A&M takes the series. I think they're going to split games 1 and 2. I think Prager's going to win this game. I think they will probably drop game 2, and I think they're going to scrape by and figure out a way, maybe extra innings in the third game, but they're going to figure out a way, and I think this is what's going to get the ball rolling for the Aggies here.
Yeah, I think A&M takes the series, but I'll say this on the Alabama side, and I've said this to a lot of people. While A&M is not playing to their potential, because me, you, and anybody who feels like that I feel like knows ball thinks this A&M team will figure it out. If you're Alabama, you got to take advantage before they figure it out. You got to kick them while they're down right now. And so if you're Alabama, you got to go in there and you got to be ready to punch them in the mouth. So it's a big time opportunity for Alabama. But I think I don't know, man. I'm going to keep picking A&M until otherwise, because I just feel like they're going to come together at some point.
Yeah, Missouri traveling to the box. Jim, your team, they got anything to worry about this weekend?
No, that's why I'm surprised you asked, as I didn't even put them on the pick 'em. Missouri just has not been able to win games. LSU SEC opener. We talked to our guest last night. Kaysen said they're ready, they're excited. I think they take care of business.
All right, North Carolina, Louisville. I'm not even picking Missouri to LSU. I think it was clear who I'm going to go with.
This one that you just said, sneaky good, because us and a couple other rankings have Louisville ranked. D1 does not. You know how it is. A lot of people don't focus if they don't see that number next to them. Louisville's record says otherwise. They had some good wins to start the season, and it's at Louisville. So UNC obviously needs to bounce back. They really need this. Louisville's going to be looking to go ahead and take care of business. I'm actually going to pick the upset. Give me Louisville and UNC losing series back-to-back weekends.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it to a team that was just in the College World Series and a team that, was the 16th.
Van Honeycutt ain't there, bro.
Hey, it don't matter. They're number 6 in the nation for a reason. They're going to figure it out.
Because D1 won't lower them when they lose series?
Hey, it is what it is, man. I just going off numbers, man. Just going off numbers. But give me North Carolina for sure. West Virginia at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State, man, it's just so hard to peg them because one day they get the crap kicked out of them, and then they turn around and they force.
They got some big wins, though, man.
Right. But they're not consistent enough, and I think West Virginia is playing really well. This was a team I mentioned to you needs to be on the radar.
Great breaking news: DBU does get it done in the bottom 11. Oklahoma State drives it, and so for that reason, Daniel, on this pick'em, I'm going against Oklahoma State. They can't hold it together. Give me West Virginia.
West Virginia, Oklahoma State's reeling. All right, last one, and we'll call it a night. Arizona State at TCU. Who are you taking?
Man, you know what? The Horned Frogs at home. I've been there to Fort Worth. Nice field. 8,000 fans show up regularly. This is now conference. It's weird to say that. Arizona State, TCU, same conference. You're in conference play. Give me TCU at home.
Yeah, I'm gonna go alternate of you. I'm gonna take the Sun Devils. I'm gonna take Arizona State.
Forks up, baby. Forks up.
Forks up, and that's exactly why.
Knives in the back. That might be the best thing you've ever said.
Forks in the front, knives in the back. Well, that was our rapid fire. A lot of good conference matchups. It's going to be dicey this weekend.
Look,
the top 25 is going to be in shambles, maybe.
Going forward, I was asked by numerous listeners, can we put a parlay out there? Here was why I didn't do it tonight, Daniel. With these SEC matchups, they could go either way. I'm not going to be responsible for people losing money. Let me get this first weekend to get a little bit more feel of all these teams, and then we'll do it, Daniel. Because I'm not trying to have people messaging me talking about they bet $1,000 because they watched our thing and made a 6-leg parlay and none of them hit. You know what I'm saying?
Look, let me tell y'all something. Don't solicit gambling advice from this show. Y'all better do better.
National champion. Look, if you want to go ahead and bet who's going to win it all at the start of the season, we got you.
I got you on that. But Jim, it's been a blast. Another midweek session down. Another College Baseball Tonight episode in the books. We will see everybody when we coming back. When we doing it again? Everybody wants to know.
We're going to do it Friday night. I'm going to do it from Knoxville with you, so it's going to be cool, hoping to get some highlights from there that I can bring into it. In the meantime, obviously we got Marcus Phillips from Tennessee tomorrow night on In Off the Bench, and then Thursday we got the closer, the double deuce from Ole Miss, Connor Spencer. So 2 big episodes, 2 top 25 teams, 2 top 13 teams. So, man, y'all be on the lookout for that, as well as Case Evans that we had on last night from LSU, the freshman closer. So just keep growing the game, everyone.
That's right. Keep growing it. Till then, we're out.